The training hall fell silent as Hyle stepped onto the combat mat, her small frame dwarfed by the towering Krillian instructor before her. Across the galaxy, humanity had been accepted into the Galactic Coalition only 3 cycles ago, and their physical weakness was already legendary. Another human? Instructor Zixthor rumbled, his forearms crossing over his chest plate. Command must be joking. Hyle said nothing. She'd heard it all before, at the Academy entrance exams during atmospheric flight training in the tactical simulations. Humans were slow. Humans were fragile. Humans broke easily. The other species in the Coalition had evolved on high-gravity worlds, or possessed natural armor, or moved with predatory speed that made Earth's apex predators look sluggish. Begin basic strike assessment, Zixthor announced to the assembled class. 200 cadets from 17 different species watched with varying degrees of interest. Most had already dismissed her. Kivan, her squad partner and one of the few who hadn't written her off immediately, stood at the edge of the mat. The young Valorian's crystalline features reflected concern. He'd seen her in simulations, her tactics were sound, her mind sharp, but this was different. This was physical combat, and humans simply didn't have the biological advantages needed to survive it. Strike the combat dummy, Zixthor ordered, gesturing toward a reinforced training pillar designed to withstand blows from species that could shatter stone with their bare appendages. Hyle approached, rolled her shoulders once and threw a punch. The impact barely registered on the pillar's measurement display. 340 newtons, pathetic by Coalition standards. Laughter erupted through the hall. Zixthor's mandibles clicked in amusement. Did you see that? I've seen hatchlings hit harder. More laughter. Human, your species may excel at creative thinking, but you lack the physical capability for combat roles. Perhaps consider logistics or communication support. The instructor turned away, already moving on to the next cadet. Instructor, Hyle said quietly. Zixthor paused, looking back with barely concealed irritation. Yes, may I try again? The instructor's laugh boomed across the hall. By all means. Perhaps your second attempt will reach 400 newtons. The other cadets joined in the mockery. Kivan shifted uncomfortably. He wanted to say something to defend his partner, but what could he say? The measurements didn't lie. Humans were simply... Hyle's stance changed, it was subtle. Her feet spread slightly wider. Her breathing deepened. Her eyes focused on a point not on the pillar's surface, but seemingly through it. Those who knew human history might have recognized it. The shift that happened when desperation met determination. When the thin veneer of civilization peeled back to reveal something older. Something forged in the African savanna by creatures who refused to quit. She struck again. The wall behind the pillar exploded outward. Debris scattered across the training hall as alarms shrieked to life. The reinforced pillar, designed to withstand 50,000 newtons of force, had been punched clean through. The measurement display sparked and died, having registered a reading that exceeded its maximum threshold before catastrophically failing. Chunks of Durasteel composite clattered across the floor. Silence descended like a physical weight. Hyle stood with her fist still extended, breathing steady despite the blood dripping from her knuckles. She hadn't broken the pillar. She'd destroyed it so completely that fragments had embedded themselves in the wall 6 meters behind it, before punching through that wall as well. Zixthor's 4 eyes widened to their maximum diameter. What? Ow! Kivan found his voice first. Adrenaline response, he whispered, his crystalline form shimmering with amazement. He'd read about it in the human biology briefs that most cadets had ignored. It's an emergency physiological reaction. Their bodies can temporarily override limiters, increase strength and pain tolerance beyond normal parameters. Temporarily? Another cadet asked. When threatened or sufficiently motivated? Kivan continued, unable to tear his gaze from Hyle. Humans can access reserves of strength their bodies normally restrict to prevent self-injury. They can ignore broken bones, torn muscles, damaged organs. Their species evolved to be persistence hunters. They ran prey to death across endless plains. When they decide not to stop, Hyle turned to face Zixthor, her expression calm despite the tremor running through her injured hand. Instructor, my people have a saying. It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. You see weakness. I see a species that crawled out of caves and touched the stars. We didn't do it by being the strongest or the fastest. We did it by refusing to quit when stronger, faster things told us we couldn't. The instructor's mandibles worked soundlessly. Around the hall, cadets who had been laughing moments ago now stared with something approaching fear, or perhaps respect. The difference wasn't always clear. The first punch, Hayal continued, flexing her damaged fingers, was with normal human strength. You're right. It's not impressive by coalition standards. She gestured toward the destroyed pillar and shattered wall. But that's not what you should be afraid of. Then what should we fear? Zixthor asked quietly. What happens when you push humans hard enough that we stop trying to be civilized? Hayal's smile didn't reach her eyes. When we remember that our ancestors survived ice ages, supervolcanoes, and predators that hunted us in the dark. When we access the strength that evolution gave us but taught us to restrain. Kivan stepped forward, pride evident in his voice. Command didn't assign her here as a joke, Instructor. They assigned her here as a message. The hall remained silent as medical staff rushed in to treat Hayal's hand and assess the structural damage. But the real damage had already been done, to assumptions, to prejudices, to the comfortable certainty that humans were too weak to matter. As Zixthor filed his incident report later that cycle, he added a personal note that would ripple through Coalition Military Command. Recommend revision of human physical capability assessments. Initial measurements may not reflect combat-relevant performance under stress conditions. In the end, he'd learned what countless others would learn in the years to come. Humanity's greatest strength was never measured in newtons. It was measured in the willingness to hit again when everyone expected them to fall.